I gotta give it to you guys. Spending your stimulus check to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's pretty commendable. But one thing I don't want you to get caught up in is buying way too many Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. You think you have enough money and then next thing you know, it's all gone. Like my dad. What's going on with you guys? TheCaliEffect, King of Games here. And today, I'm going to be outlining some really good beginner decks for beginners. I can understand the plight of being a beginner playing Yu-Gi-Oh! There are some decks that look really good, but could be completely unplayable. Nobody wants to waste money on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck that can't be played. And then of course, because you don't know if you really want to play the game yet, you don't want to spend a lot of money. I mean, even with the stimmy, that is 100% understandable. Niggas got bills to pay, like that car note that is probably way too expensive and will be repossessed before the summer is over. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys some really cool decks to help you start your Yu-Gi-Oh! Journey. These decks aren't going to be world beaters, but they're also not going to break the bank, not entirely. And if you ever need any help building these strategies, I have an amazing Discord community because I ain't got time for that. I'm not building every single one of you guys' decks. So of course, if you want to see more content like this, then be sure to destroy that subscribe button, but also go ahead and hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. Without further ado, let's jump on in and talk about some pretty cool beginner decks. So when making this list, I thought of two things. The first thing is a strategy being able to be versatile, being able to play a particular strategy in one way, or being able to mix other cards into the strategy to have more fun. I think that's the best way to get the most bang for your buck when you're starting into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. And also a strategy that looks aesthetically cool. I mean, we don't want to play a strategy built off of vitamins or something. A vitamin deck. The first strategy is badassery from hell. It's gonna be the Unchained strategy. Now I like the Unchained strategy is because of course it's a badass looking deck, but also it's a strategy that can be mixed in a plentiful ways. The Unchained strategy is based off of destroying your own cards to gain some pretty cool effects. There are trap cards like Escape from the Unchained and the Abominable Unchained, which allow you to special summon Unchained monsters from your deck to your side of the field when they are destroyed, but also can special summon or destroy Unchained monsters on your side of the field. And the cool thing about destroying your own trap cards is that you can bring them back to your side of the field with Unchained Twin Sarama, and you can make some really powerful link monsters like Anguish and Rage, which allow you to link summon using your opponent's monsters. Talk about a plot twist. We went from destroying our own cards to linking with our opponent's monsters. Unchained's boss monster is Unchained Abomination. This card is just like completely badass, but it does allow you to destroy a card on the side of the field once per turn, but it also can destroy a card for destroying a card and then allow you to destroy a card when cards are destroyed. It's a lot of destruction going on. This particular strategy may not be Django, but it's completely unchained when it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. You might want to consider it as a really good beginner deck as it's pretty budget friendly as well. Now maybe you're not fiending for destruction. You want something a little more combo-y and also has different play lines. Well, if you are a longtime watcher of TheCaliEffect, which I assume a lot of you guys are and just want to watch this video because it's a TheCaliEffect video. And then there's the small percentage of beginners. And then of course there's the people that actually bought their beginner friends. You guys are the real ones. I feel like the Thunder Dragon strategy is a really good tool for beginner players because not only do they come cheap, they're actually played in a variety of ways. Basically how the Thunder Dragon strategy works is that it revolves around Thunder Dragon. You never would have thought. If you played Yu-Gi-Oh! Long enough, this card came out in like 2002 and it got an entire deck. This Chaos-y strategy has some really powerful effects. All of the Thunder Dragon monsters, for the exception of Thunder Dragon, have a hand effect and a graveyard effect, and some of the most powerful monsters are Thunder Dragon Dark and Thunder Dragon Roar, which most important effects allows you to search Thunder Dragon monsters or special summon Thunder Dragon monsters to your side of the field. Then you have light monsters like Thunder Dragon Hawk and Thunder Dragon Matrix, which allow you to special summon banished or in graveyard Thunder Dragon monsters to your side of the field, or search another copy of Thunder Dragon Matrix. I hope you can start to see the harmony between this deck. Your light monsters, your dark monsters can activate their effects when they are sent to the graveyard or banished. This allows you to get these cards to the graveyard as soon as possible, and you can abuse it with very powerful monsters like Chaos Dragon Levianeer, but if you're feeling really nostalgic, Blackluster Soldier is still a really cool card. The deck's ace in the hole is Thunder Dragon Colossus, a Yu-Gi-Oh card that is so powerful, it's banned. I got you hyped for a card that you probably read that's banned. Thunder Dragon Titan is still a really good card though, allowing you to destroy cards on the field anytime a Thunder monster is activated in your hand. I bet you won't believe what those Thunder Dragon monsters are. They're dragons. No, I'm just playing. They're definitely Thunders. You can destroy quite a bit of times with Titan. I love the flexibility of the Thunder Dragon strategy because you can play it as a pure build, you can play it as an anti-meta build, or you can splash it inside of dragon decks to make actual Thunder Dragons. It's a pretty cool deck that teaches you about so many concepts. Thunder Dragon is one of the decks that are too strong. Now, if those decks don't have you shaking in your boots, how lame am I? I just said shaking in your boots. Like, boy, I need my black card taken away. Then I have a strategy that can terrorize what your opponent is doing. Zombies allow me to not only get away with saying what I just said, it allows me to bring in a horrible pun and talk about a really fun deck to play. The Zombie World strategy is based just off of that. Zombie World turns all monsters on the field and graveyard into zombies, and just in case your opponent was thinking about tribute summoning, they can. Now beginners, one thing I do want to point out is that there's a huge difference between tribute summoning and tributing monsters, but you got a long way to actually be frustrated on how card mechanics work. We'll talk about that in a different video. But Zombie World is so good because it turns all monsters on the field and graveyard zombies, including your opponents when they want to make their strategy, their strategy by playing their particular type, they kinda can. Now you can be rewarded further for playing zombies. Doom King Ballardrock allows you to special summon itself from your graveyard to your side of the field as long as there is a field spell card, and anytime a zombie monster's effect is activated, you can negate that zombie monster's effect, or you can banish a monster on your opponent's field or graveyard. Zombie World turns their monsters into zombies, and then they activate their effects. That's not good for them. To help the supporting cast, cards like Necro World Banshee and Glow of Bloom allow you to get into your zombie world, but also can allow you to special summon Doom King Ballardrock to your side of the field. So the deck is built off of continuously summoning that Doom King Ballardrock from the grave. That's kind of like how zombies work. The thing that I do like about this is that you can play that disruptor style. You can also play a combo-y style to be able to special summon monsters to your side of the field. And with using cards like Mizuki, you can keep on bringing your zombies back from the grave for more extra deck summons. Zombies are one of the more fun decks to play, and a deck that players may not like to play against, but who really cares? I mean, we Googling out here and we taking their life points, right? Now, ironically, none of these decks involve a mechanic called Exceed Summoning. Exceed Summoning is when you take monsters of the same level and place them on top of each other, and then you go into your extra deck and get a black Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'm not racist, I'm black, and also my best friend's not black. Huh. Oh shit, I might be racist. I personally feel that this is the best mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh, so it would only be right to talk about one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh decks to ever do the mechanic. The Zoodiac strategy completely ignores what I just said. Just like how any good Yu-Gi-Oh strategy will ignore a lot of rules in Yu-Gi-Oh, Zoodiac monsters can be Exceed summoned by using one Zoodiac monster. The Zoodiac strategy is built on one card Exceed summons, being able to summon really powerful monsters like Zoodiac Trident to your side of the field, which allows you to destroy a face-up card during either player's turn. That may not sound really huge, but it's huge. Also, if you don't mind spending a little bit extra of that stimmy, you can use cards like Zoodiac Warbow, which can attack your opponent directly, stack materials on top of the Warbow, and then make Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, which can detach 2 materials to send all cards on the field to the graveyard. I think you're starting to get it. This is one of the very few decks that can just make materials for Zeus for free. Zoodiac is one of the more competitive strategies out of all of these decks listed, but it's not really that cheap. Between the hand traps you may need, the staple cards, Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, you might spend a pretty penny on this deck. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest this strategy to somebody that doesn't know if they really want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe for a returning player getting back into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game and remembers how cool Zoodiacs were and how oppressive they were and how expensive they were. All of those things are back. Now, the last strategy I feel is an excellent teacher for column placement, but it also allows you to gain advantage for your opponent's mistakes. Magical Musketeer is a deck based on Demon Cowboys? I think Demon Cowboys might be right. It's like Cowboy Bebop meets Overlord. I think that's a good synopsis. The Magical Musketeer strategy is based off of when a card is activated in the same column as these monsters, you can gain some pretty cool effects. Take, for example, Magical Musketeer Starfire and Casper. Casper allows you to add a Magical Musketeer card from your deck to your hand, while Starfire allows you to special summon a monster to your side of the field. Magical Musketeer is built on giving you some type of advantage when you activate cards in monsters' columns, but their spell and trap cards are pretty deadly. Magical Musket Cross Domination allows you to target a monster on the field, reduce its attack, and negate it. The cool thing about this is that this can be activated in the damage step where a lot of cards can't be used, and it's going to be really hard to respond on. And then there's Magical Musket Desperado, which allows you to destroy a free card on the field. That's pretty good. Magical Musket's boss card is Magical Musketeer Max, which allows you to gain advantage depending on what your opponent has. If they just so happen to have a plethora of monsters, well, you can add Magical Musket spell or trap cards from your deck to your hand up to that number. But if they happen to have a whole bunch of spell and trap cards, well, special summon Magical Musket monsters to their appropriate column. In case they want to activate them, you can get some Magical Musket effects. McCree from Cowboy Bebop and then thrown into Overlord is a very interesting strategy. I'd like to say that it's high noon, but I'd probably punch myself in the face for that terrible pun. I mean, it's not like I ain't done it before, so, you know, it's high noon. I think this deck is really fun to play and you might enjoy it if you check it out. Well, that's pretty much all that I have for the beginner decks that you should be looking out for. I feel that every single one of these decks has a role that you may like, so if you have the opportunity to, go ahead and check out these decks on a platform like Dueling Book. I'll leave that link down below in the description. Or if one of your friends just so happen to have one of these strategies that you can play with until you decide if you like it, go ahead and ask him for it. And if he's a little iffy on it, show him this part of the video. Listen here, you little piece of shit. I don't know you, you don't know me, but let him play that damn deck. It's not gonna hurt you. Seriously, what can go wrong for having a new player in the community? All right, I'll stop the video right there.